In a discussion panel at Reflect Space Gallery, located inside the Glendale Downtown Central Library, Native scholars, authors, and artists explored ways to push forward Native voices to incite social and political change. Each panelist is an expert in their own field, but much of their work is intersectional and deals with issues of gender, environmental justice, Indigenous art and culture, media representation, and more.
I wanted to change how we are perceived in mass media because for so long I see us as stereotypes. And when I would constantly get approached by people when I tell them that I'm Navajo, I have to go down this long list. I usually try to say, I'm Dene, what's Dene? I'm Navajo, what's Navajo? I'm Native American, American Indian. It was a frustration for me personally, just because I realized that society at large really still doesn't know who we are.
So as we look at erasure in American Indian students and American Indian intellectualism, we are oftentimes ignored or lumped in with others. So here in California, what's been a big problem for us is that if you check the box as a Native student and you're of mixed race, let's say if you're Latino and American Indian, they don't count your Native identity. And so we have a number of institutions that are Hispanic serving institutions that then can apply for Hispanic serving funding. We don't have a single institution in California that has the NASNI definition, which is a non-tribal Native serving institution. You have to have 10% more Native population. We have 4% on our campus, but there are more people in California than the entire country of Canada. So we need to rethink those numbers, especially in places like California, where there's such large populations of everyone but Natives, right? To make sure that we aren't erasing the First Peoples of this area. And so that's critical, is to remind people whose land that we're on and that we're still here.
I suppose my work is truly reflective of I'm a byproduct of my environment. I grew up here in South LA in particular, and I think it really just illustrates what that means, the amalgamation of all different cultures and different types of people that have come into these different spaces. In my own tribal space, Los Angeles being my traditional homeland, and interacting with all these different cultures and taking bits and pieces of it, I think is reflective of the type of work that I produce, and really demonstrates what it is to be, modern, to be Tongva here. Because I think, we live in a city with one of the largest Indigenous populations in the United States, and a lot of the times, my tribe, California Indian people's voices are sometimes cast aside, or it's hard for us to gain visibility in the community. And I think just making art that is different, that, aesthetically, and has something, I think the work that I produce has something to say. It's not just for aesthetic beauty. I think there's a clear message in the work that I produce, to ideally create dialogue, to understand that there's different perspectives across the Indian country from my tribe, and I only represent one faction of the artists doing the work.